This is a response to Dan Olsen's brilliant video, The Problem with NFTs. And Dan talks about a lot more things than NFTs. He talks about Web 3.0 and crypto as well. He dropped an epic bomb into that world a couple of days ago. It's a definitive explanation and takedown of the entire space, showing that inherently these are poorly designed systems for doing any of the things they allege to do, while simultaneously being excellent at removing a seemingly endless supply of fools from their money, always to the benefit of the same small group of people. Dan's exegesis doesn't need too much review. It's a whole that needs to be reckoned with by anyone who cares about these spaces, and I'm not going to try to give you the précis version here. Instead, I'm going to expand a bit on one of Dan's key conclusions, that coders want to play in the big leagues with the big boys, and we are talking Bezos, Gates here, so yes, boys, who send dick pics and hang out with dicks, whatever. And that those gates have been drawn up, not allowing access to what Dan calls the 5% into the world of the 0.001%. What he means is that programmers think, hey, this world should be ours, but the world is not being handed to them. And that's because programmers have realized something that is absolutely categorically true, that code runs pretty much all of the world these days. We know this is true because of things like Stuxnet, which was a real-world destruction wrought by malware, ransomware, real-world pain brought about by software thieving and criminality, gig economy apps, and trust me, if you've ever worked for one of them, the app and the software runs your life. Your phone, like the one I'm recording this on, the laptop that I'm using to write this on, the very software that I'm using to make this video, YouTube. And speaking of which, I've spent years as a marketer, as a film and TV producer, a digital content producer of about 1 million pieces. I can say, unlike most people, that I've worked with Tim and Eric, and I've worked with Werner Herzog. So, I've covered the spectrum here. And in all of this business that I've done, all of this chasing the next shiny thing to make content about, I've been a bit of an ambulance chaser, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of a puppy, and, in 2016, that led me to VR, and I did a lot of work in VR, worked with Samsung, worked with Jaunt, for those of you who remember the not lamented Jaunt. And then in 2017 and 2018, unsurprisingly, crypto seemed like a cool idea. And I came at it from a left perspective and whatever, but it doesn't matter. It also was money, and there was money to be made, and I was chasing that. And while I did it, I helped craft marketing of several ICOs, including one that was a pretty famous straight-up scam, although I didn't know it at the time, but I started to realize it, and when I did, I kicked the people who I was involved with out, didn't take any more of their money, but still worked for a scam. If you want to hear about it more, you can check the description for the pod I did with the excellent Crypto Critics Corner, Kaz Pianzi and Bennett Tomlin's wonderful show. So in all of this, I came to some conclusions about crypto of my own. Dan does a much better job than I will of sort of explaining how all this has led to where it's led, and I agree with all that he says, basically, endorse all of it. But I do think that he doesn't take his conclusion far enough, so that's what I want to focus on quickly. Because he's right, that programmers want to make the real money, the infinite bucks, and they have a reason why that actually makes sense in the context of the world around us. Here's why. For hundreds of years, 10, 20, 40 years ago, the code that ran things was undisputedly the only system that made processes work, and it was called the law. It was codified, by lawyers who in turn created a superstructure of lawness that allowed them to become presidents, prime ministers, judges, interpreters of all things legal vis-a-vis money, and so on. So they built a system that paid themselves handsomely, and it paid them in power, it paid them in prestige, and it paid them in hard cash money. It worked for a long time, and it's working today. It's the sea we all swim in, we're just fish. Well, along comes the computer and the programs that run it. And now I remember as a kid in the 70s helping students at the college where my dad taught use the printer, and I programmed in COBOL and Pascal and BASIC and Fortran and assembly language, and it all seemed very abstract. Cool, but abstract. It's not abstract anymore, Basically, what we all now know is that almost nothing in this world can survive without the software and its underlying code. Take your car in to get fixed. It has at least 3 computers on board. I'm not talking about a Tesla. I'm talking about your 10-year-old Prius. Try to get your Deere tractor fixed if you're a farmer. Haha, you can't, because essentially Deere has bricked it if you try to do it yourself. My furnace is out right now, and the problem, it's a computer problem. The parts needed to fix it is a circuit board, and so it goes. Programmers know all of this, and I think they look around at what lawyers have done, created a world in their own image and financial best interest, and said, I'll have some of that, please. And with crypto and with NFTs and Web 3.0, they've found the wedge that lets them become the arbiters of everything. And then maybe they get to be presidents and judges, set up systems where all the rules of the money are adjudicated by them, the programmers, and voila, they remake the system in their own image, their own rules. Code is law, they will tell you, and believe them when they say it. And well, given the paucity of imagination of your average programmer, color me unsurprised that what they've come up with is just meet the new boss, same as the old boss, only automated. Now, I'm not arguing that fiat currency, and by the way, one of these, to whoever has made me have to use the word fiat in that sentence, anyway, I'm not arguing it's a Ponzi or that laws are an MLM. I am fully aware that the systems that lawyers built is massively flawed, often evil, and rewards the rich far beyond their use as humans. But okay, you want to replace that. I get it. Just, can we find something better to replace it with than an earth-destroying Ponzi scheme machine that commodifies everything and edifies nothing? That'd be nice.